The match tomorrow against Gungahlin United. It's not been the greatest season for you yet. You're still searching for a point with a very, very young side, but some of your recent results have been a bit encouraging.
I think, as you said, Russ, we're a very young side. We're in most games, but unfortunately we're not getting the win at the moment, but we're pushing every side as much as we can.
Looking to this one, we spoke last week. We were watching Canberra Olympic against Woden Western. They scored some cracking goals last week, but the player that pulled the strings was Grace Marr. Now, Grace Marr's not playing today. She's sick. I understand she's had a bout of tonsillitis this week, which is a big loss for them, as is Sally Rojan, who's also away as well. So two of their main midfielders aren't here. How much of an effect is that on them tonight, do you think?
Oh, it's a big effect. Never mind the talent they bring on the pitch. It's that experience that they're playing against the best side of the competition, and that level of experience will be missed.
It certainly will, but in saying that, Belconnen United missing a couple as well. Caitlin Munoz is away, and Jessie Williams, who's scored 10 goals this season, she's in Tasmania as well. She's been an impact sub for them most of the season. She's coming on, scoring goals. Be great to have players like that, isn't it? It
would be great to have players in your first 11, mind coming off your bench with that sort of skill.
Looking at the fixtures, there's one match tonight. Canberra United Academy play Monero Panthers. We're probably expecting the Academy to win and probably win well. And tomorrow, Woden Western against Canberra FC and Gungahlin against Tuggeranong as well. Top four isn't set as yet, is it? We've got Belconnen on 46 points, Canberra FC on 38, Canberra United on 34, which look home and host. Then we've got this battle between Olympic and Gungahlin, 4th and 5th. Olympic on 25 points, Gungahlin on 24 with games running out. So there's much to play for those teams before the end of the year.
Oh, definitely. And as far as I'm aware, I believe they're playing each other next week, Olympic and Gungahlin. That'll be a cracking game, and both sides will be looking to pick up points this week to put them in the front seat for next week.
Well, that's it. Sunday, 5th of August, Gungahlin United versus Canberra Olympic could be crucial, especially if, let's say, both teams don't pick up points or Gungahlin pick up points. That game is going to be the one that possibly decides who's in the top four.
I think so, and I think both their games they've played against each other this year have been very close.
There's not been much between. It was 4-2 to Olympic against Gungahlin in round 5 and 3-2 to Gungahlin against Olympic in round... In fact, sorry, Gungahlin won both, round 5 and round 12, 4-2 and 3-2. But I believe Grace Marr and a couple of the players weren't playing in those games either, so it's a toss-up, I guess, for both those. But good luck to both Gungahlin and Canberra Olympic next week. Of course, you could put a spanner in the works for Tuggies tomorrow if you've got a result against Gungahlin.
Well, we're doing our very best to make sure that happens.
And then next week, Monero Panthers for you as well. So hopefully you can pick up a point before the end of the season, just for the the whole lift of the club that it will give them.
I think so. The club and more especially the players deserve it. They put in everything in this game, and as we keep saying, we're a young side, but we're learning very quickly. We just need a little bit of a look to go our way, and we'll be okay.
This is Canberra Olympic in the blue shirts coming onto the field in your shot at the moment. Let's have a look at their team first and see as though they're coming out. Miriam McLaren in goal. We're expecting a back four similar to last week. Lily Dawson and Victoria Jameson at fullback, Grace Basser-Silk and Beck Keating in the middle. Grace Field, Chiara Gaspari and Alexia Fauna possibly the midfield three. Vanessa Ryan, Meg McLaughlin and Emma Gow up front, although we might see that change a little bit depending on the way the game's going.
Yeah, I think most sides, when we look at team sheets, look to play a 4-3-3, but against Belconnen, inevitably becomes a 4-5-1.
Yeah, we think in that case Ryan and Gow might push forward, and fair bit of pressure, or well, not pressure, but fair good opportunity, I guess, for Alexia Fauna, the young midfielder, on the bench last week, 14 years of age, just come back from a junior Matildas camp, or mini Matildas camp, I should say, and opportunity for her to show the quality she's got as well. I've been impressed with what we've seen of her this season.
Very much so, and I think with the recognition that she's getting, she's obviously carrying a fair bit of momentum into every game now, and hopefully she plays with a smile and shows everyone what she can do.
Fairly settled Belconnen United lineup, as it looks on paper. Nat Lacey in goal, back four of Lauren Keir, Karen Clark, Jessie Rashard and Bronte Pike. Midfield three of Michaela Day, just back from holidays where she got engaged, so congratulations to Michaela. Katie Woodman and Nicole Jaloka up front, Ellie Raymond, Maddie Whittle and Jasmine Maguire. Plenty of goals, plenty of movement, plenty of quality.
Yeah, we played them last week, and they're a side quality all across the pitch, and they're all comfortable on the ball, and they all know their role and their place in the team very well.
Yeah, it's incredible when you consider that their left-back, Bronte Pike, has 6 goals to her name this season from left-back, and centre-back Jessie Rashard has 4.
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but Bronte scored a screaming header against us last week, and it was a fantastic header.
One of 2 she's got last week against you guys.
I didn't want to mention that, but I was just happy with the one.
They scored at critical times, to be fair, last week. Jasmine Maguire in the 7th minute. Caitlin Munoz just before the half hour. Jessie Williams right on half time. Then Bronte Pike on the hour with 15 to go, just after Leah Carnegie had scored as well. So it's one of those teams that when they need to step up, they do.
And it's football. We were 1-0 down and we had a glorious chance to equalise and change the momentum. But before we missed the chance and suddenly we're 3-0 down.
We'll see how they go today. It's Belconnen United in the light blue, Canberra Olympic in the dark blue. It's not confusing, is it?
No, I'm just delighted. There's no frost on the pitch.
I'll tell you what, last time we were here, it was very, very cold, wasn't it? It's actually quite balmy.
It was freezing last time.
There's no wind to speak of at all, and it's actually quite a nice evening as Ricardo Alberto, returning to women's NPL action in the middle today, gets us underway. George Sanderson and Matt Gazinski on the line. Early touch for Clark to send it forward, looking for Raymond. And Bassa Silk, as expected, in that back four. Looks like Grace Field has slotted in alongside her as well, though, so that'll be interesting to see how they work this back line.
Yeah, I think Belconnen, even in the first minute, they always find somehow to play the ball in the opposition's half, every single game.
It'll be interesting to see what the lineup is across the back line. It looks like Bassa Silk is playing at full-back. That means that perhaps Dawson's pushed further forward, so something different to keep an eye on.
Yeah, and I think they've got Meg playing centre forward, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Meg drift off to the left sometime during the game.
Yeah, as you expected, it's probably a 4-5-1 as such. Free kick early on to Canberra Olympic. We were very impressed with them last week. Meg McLaughlin, 6 goals. She's got herself a little highlights reel on Bar TV there with all 6. Not often someone scores 6 in a game. She's done that twice this season. I believe Aoife Colville's done it twice as well for Belconnen.
Yeah, I believe one of those occasions was against Tuggeranong, and the first 5 were lucky.
Here's Gal. First touch for her. McLaughlin's infield, but Day's going to get there ahead of her. Dawson picks up loose ball. She's still searching for her first goal of the season. Gone close on a number of occasions. Gal looks for Ryan.
It's an interesting challenge for most teams when we play Belconnen. Belconnen, we always say they're a fantastic side going forward, but they don't concede any either.
They've got an experienced centre-back pairing in Clark and Rashard, haven't they? It's probably one of the most, if not the experienced centre-back pairing in Canberra. Here's Field. Infield to Gaspari. Chips looking for Ryan. Easily picked up by Clark, though. Pike plays it out of play. Vanessa Ryan, earlier in the season, don't want to bring up more bad memories for you, but she scored 4 goals in very quick time for Olympic reserves against Tuggeranong in a match at Canberra, and then scored in the first grade game straight afterwards as well.
I don't remember that, Russ.
Blocking it out, clearly. Field finds Gal. Here is Ryan. And Olympic Belconnen bring it away through Jaloka to Woodman. Jaloka again. The run is from Raymond, and she's got in behind here, Ellie Raymond, and she's got plenty of pace. Chance for her to get into the penalty. Looks for Maguire, who's come short now. Whittle, who got there first. Now Maguire, who peeled away. Raymond again, trying to tee it up on the edge of the penalty area. No one wants to shoot at the moment. Woodman finds Day. She lined it up, but instead goes wide to Keir. Plays the ball into Whittle. Nice layoff as well, and this is good momentum, but Vanessa Ryan got back to make the challenge, and here's Emma Gow holding it up and a chance perhaps for Olympic to break away.
Some good football there, but you'd have liked to have seen someone take a shot.
Here's Fauna, who we mentioned in the pre-match. Back to Bassa Silk. Gow beaten to it by Rashard. Challenge between Keating and Maguire. Field comes back to help. Bassa Silk to Keating again, but it's asking a lot, and Gaspari gets there.
It's interesting to see Field play very deep today.
I'm not quite sure where she's playing at the moment. Is she in front of the back four or part of the central defensive pairing? She's been floating around at the moment. Here's Pike, who we mentioned had 6 goals to her name. She does like a run forward, does Bronte Pike. Whittle's made the run forward, but the flag goes up. Offside. It was very, very, very tight. And a tidy finish at the end of it.
Fantastic ball from Bronte. She's turned into very much a quality fullback.
As I was mentioning, a fullback that likes to get forward and score goals as well. Did a game a couple of weeks ago where she was hanging around, looking for a goal up front. Doesn't mind the odd strike or two, and some of the goals I've seen her score have been absolute belters.
Yeah, she's got a very good, a good football brain on her. Has a good future ahead of her.
There's Dawson. Bounces over her head, and Keir gets there first. Whittle infield to Jaloka. Ominous early signs for Olympic as Jaloka gets into gear. Keir outside. Chance to swing it to that near post, and McLaren's down. Gathers it comfortably, but at the moment they're just getting a little bit too much room in midfield, the Blue Devils.
They are. They pass well, they move well.
Keir nods it forward. He's going to get a bite of the cherry. Fauna helps it away. Gaspari's in there as well, but the collision between the two Olympic players allows Jaloka to pick the loose ball up. Here's Day. Again, line one up. Mickey Day looks to slide it through. Chance here for Maguire, but it's going to roll away from her, and McLaren's going to pick it up. Nice disguised pass from Mickey Day.
Oh, it was, but I would have liked to have seen her put her foot through it. A nice left foot shot there would have challenged the keeper.
And at the moment, that's not what they're doing, is it? They haven't challenged her at all yet, Michael.
No, they're playing some good football, a lot of good movement, but it's always nice to test the keeper early.
Pike finds Raymond. Plenty of early touches for Ellie Raymond on this near side, the grandstand side here at McKellar Park. Nice switch from Clark, but Dawson's read it and headed it into the air. Jaloka. Keir. Has to go back, but lovely little bit of skill to get away from Dawson.
Oh, a nice turn.
And Whittle's turn to marker, and a chance perhaps for Belconnen. Whittle into the penalty area, pulls it across. Here's an opportunity for Maguire. She doesn't miss from there. The league leaders lead. It's Belconnen in front, and it's Jasmine Maguire with her 7th of the season.
Nicely taken goal. Simple tapping after a great run down the right-hand side. This is what you don't want when you play Belconnen. They do try to overpower you in the first few minutes and get a lead.
Beautiful run by Whittle to get her in down the flank, wasn't it? And when she picked the right ball back, and Maguire wasn't going to miss from that range.
No, there's a lot of composure to pull that ball back. Most people would have just fired it across.
Not the start that Eddie Senatori and Canberra Olympic would have wanted. Can they hit back? Pike plays it forward to Raymond. Ryan intercepts the ball, now finds Field. Dawson. Keir's tight to Dawson. Fauna. Nice triangle. Ryan. Showed too much of it, though, to Pike. But does well to win it back. Vanessa Ryan. And then step away from Jaloka, but straight into Raymond. Bassa Silk. They play neat and tidy football, don't they, Olympic?
They do, and I think the challenge is when you play Belconnen, though, you've got to put some pressure on them, and one of Belconnen's strengths is winning that ball back quickly.
Jameson, the left fullback, has been in good form this season. Dawson is playing further forward than we've seen her in the last couple of weeks. Clark sends out one forward, but there's no one in a Blue Devils shirt anywhere near that. Plenty of time for Grace Field. The difficult side to play against the best of times, Michael, aren't they? And when you go 1-0 down early.
Yeah, and they do that so often. They put pressure on you, and I think it's sometimes you've got to move away from what you're good at.
Well, here's McLaughlin. 6 goals last week. She's hardly had a touch yet in the first 8 minutes. She has now. Chance for her to put her head down, go into the penalty area. Belconnen, of course, know all about Meg McLaughlin and what she can offer. Here's Jaloka. Woodman. Slows the play down. Brings Keir into it on the right-hand side. Unusually overhit ball from Lauren Keir. Not usually so wasteful in possession. Fauna finds Bassa Silk. Dave's put the pressure on. You can hear Anthony Jagarinic wanting the press as high as he can, but Grace Bassa Silk does exceptionally well to get out of that little trap.
And they do that very well. I think the challenge is for teams when you play Belconnen is how can you turn Belconnen around? Not many sides can do it as you look at the league position, but it's a challenge.
McLaughlin chasing this through ball. First touch of the game for Nat Lacey. Live football here on Bar TV Sports, WMPL from Canberra on a rather balmy evening. Not too cold in Canberra. 1-0 to Belconnen United early on. The goal from Maguire is Ryan. It's been a handful in these early stages. Battle between Day and Fauna. Two players at opposite ends of their career there.
Yeah, I think one of the keys now is Olympic have really got to settle down for the next 10 minutes.
McLaughlin goes wide to Dawson. She's got plenty of toe. Looking to take on Rashard in defence. McLaughlin takes over. Battle between her and Keir. Strength for McLaughlin, but two Belconnen shirts around to stop her. They'll be quite happy to see Meg McLaughlin out in the corner, though.
I think so. They double up on her, and Meg's probably got to play, start looking to pass that ball and try and get it back, the ball back into space.
Different beast when she's down the middle of the park. Here's Field. Silk offers the width. Better from Olympic. Chance here for Ryan, maybe, to get the ball into the penalty area. She looks to take on Pike, who gets in there, and it's a Olympic ball. Responded well to going a goal down there.
They have. They pushed Belconnen back, and did it? I must admit, I'm surprised by that. I thought that was a corner.
I think it just went out just this side of the corner flag, did it? Or was he given a corner? Not entirely sure. The signal looked like it was thrown. It is a corner. McLaughlin's going to take. See what she can do. We're swinging this into the danger area. Ryan's an obvious target, bit of height there. And it is in towards Vanessa Ryan, but she's beaten to it by Michaela Day.
It's a double-edged sword, that. You've got your best finisher crossing the ball in.
Well, she swings it in again, and Lacey needs to come and does well. I was going to ask you about that in just a second, Michael. You're your best striker, taking the corners because your corner taker's not here.
You know, as an ex-centre forward, you want to be putting pressure on that goalkeeper hanging around that 6-yard box.
Yeah, I can't take corners, mate. Jalocca. Can't kick it that far. Here's Raymond. Out wide to Pike. Just plays it straight into tracking defender. It was Fauna. The Silk, rather. Here's Raymond.
This is what they do so well. Patient build-up, move it from side to side, move you around.
Kia looks to take on Dawson, who does well to get in front of a more experienced player.
She does very well.
And wins a throw. She's been one of the better players I've seen this season as well in a position. I've seen her play on the right back, left wing, right wing.
Fantastic.
Anywhere you put it, it's good to have a talent like that.
Fantastic two-footed player.
Plenty of them in the Women's Premier League this season. It's been a good competition to watch. A lot of good young players coming through as well, Michael.
I think so. I know teams like ourselves and some of the so-called lesser teams were putting a great emphasis on youth this year.
It was Whittle. Wins the team a corner. Leading goal scorer for Belconnen United with 13. A bad return for her.
I'd settle for that.
There's plenty of goals around this team. Only Lauren Keir, Karen Clark and Katie Woodman of the outfield players have yet to score for Belconnen. Similar to Canberra Olympic, though, where only of their starting 11 today, only Lily Dawson hasn't scored a goal this year from their starting 11. They're defending at the moment. Everyone back bar Gow and McLaughlin. Ball swung to the near post. Jalocca's there. Day was on the edge of the box. Gow did enough. Did enough to put her off, and Field brings it away to Gow. Good job she got that foot in, because Mickey Day was lining one up there.
Oh, it was an excellent challenge.
Day's involved again. Gives it away to Field. Wins a team a throw. Early signs are there that Belconnen are going to have a lot of ball, and Olympic might be forced to play on the break.
I think that's most games they play. They look at 70-80% of possession, and they do that.
Here's Gow. McLaughlin's after it. Clark goes across. McLaughlin was quicker. Gets there as well, but she's left with it all to do on her own and does well to win the team a corner. An opportunity this time. Alexia Fauna is going to go across to take it and allow McLaughlin to cause havoc in the middle of the penalty area.
I think Belconnen have met most challenges this year. I think the only challenge as a coach I'd like to see is if they do go behind, how they do respond, because they're always on the front foot. How would they respond to that?
See how they defend this. That's a good-looking corner from Fauna. Swings it in. It was headed clear at the back by, I think it was probably Rashart who got the head on it in the end. And Maguire can pick it away, the goal scorer. Loses out to Jameson. Clips the heels. Should be a free kick, perhaps.
Two fantastic corners from Olympic, though. That, to me, looks like their best way of getting into the game. Two good crosses.
Well, having a look at the Belconnen United form this season, Michael, they had a blip, if you can call it a blip, a 1-1 draw with Canberra United in round 14.
I'd like that blip.
The rest of it's been pretty impressive, hasn't it? Win after win after win.
Yeah, as I say, they do steamroll sides. It will be interesting, as we saw last year in the final, how they cope when they can't break teams down.
Yeah, they are beatable, and we've seen that last year. I mean, it looks like they're going to walk away with the number one plating again this season. It's not to say it's all doom and gloom for everybody else. Jameson with this free kick into the penalty area. Keating won the header, but didn't get enough power on it. But there's a warning. Lacey sends that one forward. She's a former Tuggeranong United goalkeeper as well. I think Nat Lacey, was she?
I don't know, actually.
I think she was
probably
a long,
before
long
my
time
time.
ago. Here's Day. Back to Rashart. Looks for Kia. Nicely played to Jaloka. 4 blue shirts ahead of her. Looks for one of them, which was Whittle. Maguire was there as well, but the upshot is a throw to Olympic. They've only named 3 substitutes today. Eddie Senatori.
Well, I was just looking across their bench, and some players are just coming out the tunnels now. Eddie was looking very much a lonely figure on his own.
Well, they've only named 3. They were the 3 that played in the reserves today as well. I think is it under 20s? Or?
Just playing reserves.
Is it reserves? Yeah.
Yeah.
And that finished 7-1 to Belconnen United.
I think that's a challenge all clubs are facing at this. Well, most clubs are facing at this time. It's getting fresh players ready to come on. It's that time of the year where people go away, people get sick, people get injured.
Keating completes the clearance. It's tough as well, isn't it? Because these girls, and you're seeing them, they're playing 60, 70 minutes in the reserves, then they're coming off, sitting down for an hour and 20 minutes, and then called on for the last 10 or 15 or so, and it's really hard to get back into the groove. We'll talk about that in a second as Raymond tries to get a shot in. It bounces off field, and it should be a goal kick.
I know from a Tuggeranong perspective, we've not had one game this year where we've had a fresh player on the bench. All players we've had have played a full game of reserves. We're currently having 6 or 7 under 15 girls playing for our reserves at this moment in time.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because then, like I say, they cool off, and then they're asked to warm up again, and then that obviously leads to injuries, and then that gives you a catch-22 situation where you've got less players than you had before because the ones are injured again, and it's difficult when you haven't got the numbers. Belconnen United in the same boat, though. Their subs all played today as well. The lead here 1-0. At the moment, they're extending their lead at the top of the table to 11 points if it stays this way. Canberra FC, their closest challengers, play tomorrow against the Canberra United Academy. That's against Woden Western, rather. We expect them to possibly get a result there.
Yeah, Canberra FC will push them, I think, this season.
Here's Field, bringing it out from the back. Sends McLaughlin chasing down the left flank. But the ball's going to beat her.
To be fair, Olympic have settled down since that early goal. They've got a foothold in the game. They're not being overwhelmed. It's not as though Belconnen are creating chance after chance.
Yeah, their response has been very good. And they've shown from a set piece that they could cause a couple of issues. Woodman's ball forward. Maguire beaten to it by Field. A little tug on Gracefield there. Should be a free kick to Olympic.
As I say, the challenge when you play against Belconnen, you get very few chances. You have to take them. Put some pressure, scoreboard pressure on Belconnen.
Keating takes the latest free kick. Forward towards Gal. She finds Dawson. Looks to push it back to Gal. McLaughlin was there as well, but Kia's across. McLaughlin's too strong, though. Again, forced to do her work out by the corner flag. Does exceptionally well to get Gal into the play. Here's Emma Gal looking to turn. In the end, Day's back to help out. Falls for Fauna. She thought about it and decided against it.
I think she got caught in two minds then.
Yeah, thought about the shot. It was a long way out, wasn't it? But Belconnen looked to break with Whittle.
Looked a nice bounce, though, to hit it.
Sat up beautifully, didn't it? Would have been interesting if she got hold of that. Free kick to the Blue Devils. Jaloka goes short. Gets it back. Pokes it past Gaspari. 1-2 there with Woodman and almost sent Whittle on her way. Bossing the centre of midfield at the moment. Maybe not quite in those terms, though.
No, I think we might have called that an old-fashioned shoulder when we were growing up, Russ.
No way it's a free kick back in the day, was it? Agricultural challenge from Mickey Day. Doesn't mind a challenge, does she?
No, I think she likes to let the other midfield know she's around.
Very physical player and a bit of silk and steel with Mickey Day as well. Plenty of quality with that. Here's a chance perhaps for McLaughlin. It's bouncing around. Rashart's there. Heaps of experience by her. Gets it out to Kier.
Defender did well then. She was aware. You could see her scanning that Meg was on her shoulder and did that well.
When you've got a player that scored 21 goals this season, you need to be on your toes, and it's keeping Jessie Rashard and Karen Clark busy, isn't it?
She's putting some pressure on them, and they're both playing very well at this moment, though.
Belconnen looking to build from deep. happy to have it at the back. Clark. Bit of an overlap this side if they play it forward early. Pike clips it forward towards Whittle. Fielder gone with her. Sends it up towards Gal. Just to put the challenge on Clark. Does well.
Olympic did very well then. They closed that gap very well.
Here's Raymond. Jaloka. Field wins it there. But it's falling to a Belconnen shirt. Most of these loose balls in the centre of the park.
They are, but they're having a lot of ball, but they're not really creating too much now compared to what they were earlier. And I think Eddie would be very pleased with the last 15 minutes.
Some of the passing's been uncharacteristically sloppy, hasn't it, from the Blue Devils in midfield particularly.
And probably credit to Olympic for putting pressure on them to make those mistakes.
Lovely turn again from Whittle. Looking to ghost into the penalty area. Still going. Goes down to the challenge of Keating. I think she was just eased off it there by the Olympic defender. Half-hearted shouts from penalty. Mostly from the Blue Devils bench, it has to be said.
And to be honest, the VAR wouldn't have given that either.
Would have been very, very soft, wouldn't it? Here's Jaloka. Her turn to run at the defence. Looking for Whittle. And back across defending well is Silk.
I think Olympic need to get back in shape very quickly. If you see these four struggling up front there.
Pike finds Jaloka. Tries her luck. Bounces towards McLaren, who had a nasty moment for a few seconds. The problem, I think we talked about last time you were here, Michael, as well, is that when you play Belconnen, you want to push forward and cause up great chances. But when you do, and you do push 2 or 3 players into attack, there's always a chance that with the pace and quality they've got on the break, they're going to catch you.
Very
just like
so.
this, as Whittle goes past the marker into the area, stabs it goalwards, squirmed under McLaren, who got enough on it to force it past the post for a corner.
It's an interesting comment because we've played Belconnen 3 times this year, 3-0, 3-0 and 6-0, but there's times when they were most dangerous when we had the ball. Our transition, they're very quick at breaking a side down and attacking you on the counter.
They've got those players that can pick areas of the field where you're going to be heard as well, haven't they? The players that can play those passes into dangerous areas. The perception of what's going on ahead of them is pretty incredible.
If you're disciplined, you can frustrate them.
And we've seen that before. Gungahlin did it in that 1-1 draw. Here's the latest corner. Deep one towards the far post. Won by Rashart. Decent attempt from the centre-back.
And it was the same last year in the grand final. Canberra FC frustrated them. We did it last year as well in 1 or 2 games. The key is then if you get the 1-0 ahead again, how will Belconnen respond?
And they were fairly sloppy in the final third last year in that grand final as well. Denied by probably one of the best goalkeeper performances I've ever seen from Chantal Jones. And on any other day, another goalkeeper, they may have been 4 or 5-0 up before half-time.
Chantal had a fantastic game, didn't she? They were a little bit unlucky in that game.
Outstanding. And then Grace Gill, of course, equalised. Went to penalties, and the rest is history. We fancied them when it went to penalties with Chantal Jones in goal.
And I think with the mindset of getting that goal near the end as well, football's there's a lot of momentum.
It's hard to say who's got the momentum here at the moment. Belconnen have the lead, but it's a fairly precarious one. They're only 1-0 up. Comes off Ryan's shoulder rather than her head, but she's battling hard to try and win it back. Jaloka's there. Scrappy in midfield. Day takes a touch. Looks for Raymond. Here's an opportunity for Jaloka, and she stabbed it wide of the post. Another chance goes begging for Belconnen. Similar to the one that Whittle had a moment ago. Good pressure from the defenders.
Yeah, they recovered very well, but it was a chance, and a good chance.
Anthony Jagarinik standing on the edge of his technical area below us to the right. We'll be hoping that they're not going to come and rue those opportunities. First one, I want to give some credit to Miriam McLaren for getting down low and getting enough on the ball. And there, Beck Keating did just enough, I think, to ease Jaloka off the ball as she was aiming to poke that ball into the far stick. Still 1-0. McLaren sends that forwards. Won by Rashart. Now Day.
It's coming straight back, though.
Looks to slide in Kier down the channel. Jameson's across there. Just eases it out of play.
As we say, though, I think Eddie would be delighted if he could get him in only 1-0 down at half-time. Chance to put some pressure on him in the second half and see how long he can frustrate Belconnen.
Well, they're midway through the first half. It's still only 1-0. Here's Day. Good footing by Keating. Field. Nice touch initially, and then outside of the foot to send McLaughlin off on a chase. It's 1v1 with Rashart. Head down, Meg McLaughlin into the penalty area, and Rashart stands up. And McLaughlin slipped and almost a rugby tackle. But there's definitely danger on the break, isn't there?
Meg's obviously got excellent pace, and if they can put Meg in some space, they'll challenge Belconnen.
And physical with it as well. Can withhold a challenge. If they can get a goal side or shoulder to shoulder with Clark or Rashard, it'd be interesting. Here's Maguire. Gaspari. Gal was there. Does well. She has some good strength.
I think Gal's a keen player. She needs to try and help create some space for Meg to try and get a 1v1.
Woodman. Whittle. Nice feet. Still going Whittle. No one outside us. She has to come back. Raymond's made the run further forward. It goes to Keir.
Sort of looks as though Olympic have fallen back into a 4-4-2.
Keir looks to slide it through. Here's an opportunity perhaps, but McLaren was out quick enough to get there ahead of the on-rushing Katie Woodman. Immediately gets us back in the way. Jalocker's picked up this loose ball.
I think Eddie will be looking to mix up his delivery from the goalkeeper. The long ball down the middle's coming straight back.
It's asking a lot for Emma Gow to win the header, isn't it? Against players who are slightly more physical than she is. And as you say, it's coming straight back via Jalocker or Day, who are running the show in midfield at the moment. Clark swings it to this near side. Here's Pike. Hasn't got us forward as much as she may have liked in the opening half an hour. And this is why, because Vanessa Ryan has done a pretty good job on her defensively. Here's Gal, nicely held up. Now Ryan lifts it towards Fauna. It's beaten, the bounce has beaten Clark. Now here's a chance for Fauna. Mickey Day's tracking her back. Fauna's still going. Finds McLaughlin. Looks to give it back to Fauna. Doesn't quite work off, but the ball is picked up by Gow. She's one-on-one with Pike. Looking to take her on and tease and taunt. Gets it into the penalty. Swings it to the near post, and Lacey got a foot there. Fortunate too, because Gaspari was moving in.
Well worked by Olympic there. They showed an element of patience and worked that well.
Growing in confidence as the game goes on, I think. Here's Bassa Silk, who's enjoying decent run in the side in defence and playing some good football. Fauna, who orchestrated that latest attack. Jameson. Dawson. Field. Patient build up again from Olympic. Gow. Back to field once more. Looks to lift the ball over the top. Rashard saw it coming.
Good interception there with your wrong foot.
Needed to be because McLaughlin was lurking on the shoulder. Here's Day. Field goes in and lets Belconnen off with a shove in the back of Mickey Day.
It's one of those silly fouls as coaches. Wasn't necessary, and just as Belconnen's having a nice patch, 2 or 3 minutes passing the ball, you've let your foot off the pedal.
Rashard sends it to this near side to Pike. Raymond hugging the touchline. Coming across to win that is Field. Raymond infield to Jalocker. The ball forward is easily intercepted by Keating. Now here's a chance perhaps on the break. Instead Rashard stepped in. Day. Certainly makes some Belconnen midfield tick, doesn't she, Mickey Day? They're a different side when she's in the engine room.
She does. I'd like to see the challenge if Grace could push a little bit more forward. I think her against Day would be a good battle.
I think she's caught between two stools at the moment, Grace Field. She's helping out defensively, and when she gets forward in possession like she is here, she can make things happen, but done a fair bit of defending at the moment. That's her ball looking for Ryan. Fauna's there. She tries to help it on its way. Not enough oomph on the pass, though. The chance for Day to counter-attack. Good closing down by Fauna. They look good when they're pressing, not giving Belconnen enough time to play with the ball. But here's Jalocker. Whittle's made the run outside. If she can slide her in, she can. Here's Maddie Whittle. Real chance for 2! And taken expertly by the Belconnen Blue Devils leading goal scorer. Maddie Whittle slides it past McLaren, and it's 2-0 Belconnen.
Well taken goal. Excellent finish. Timed the ball perfectly through and, took that very well.
And a prime example of exactly what we were talking about. Olympic have the ball, the turnover, the transition, picking the right pass at the right time, and the finish was very, very good.
And it is strange. We talk about Belconnen and having all the possession, but actually sometimes better without the ball, and once they get it, they break very well.
Well, on that occasion, you would have thought that, thinking maybe Jalocca's going to go early with the pass, but she waited and waited, timed it perfection. And Maddie Whittle, I say, had nothing to do except guide it past the keeper. The one-touch finish was very, very good, and the prime example of a player in form in front of goal.
That's the difference of a quality player. A lot of players would have tried to blaze that over the bar. Or not tried to blaze it over the bar, but put it over the bar.
Well, half an hour in, live on Bar TV Sports, WMPL from Canberra. The league leading Belconnen United 2-0 up over Canberra Olympic, currently in 4th. Garland United will be watching this, hoping for a Blue Devils victory, and probably hoping for a reasonable Blue Devils victory to help with the goal difference, which Olympic have a +10 before today, which is now down to +8, and Gungahlin were -1. It might come to that come the end of the season. Michael Aldred, head coach of Tuggeranong United, sat next to me, or stood next to me, I should say, hoping his team could have a big say about that. Here's Dawson, skipping past the first challenge. I'm going to find Gaspari. Tuggeranong play Gungahlin tomorrow in one of another 2 matches in the WMPL. The other one taking place today, Canberra Academy v Monero Panthers. We'll try and bring you an update on that later.
I can give one guarantee, they'll have to work for the result. If they play well, who knows, but we'll make sure they work hard for that game.
I guess that's all you need, isn't it, really, as a coach? That's all you can ask for, to make the opposition work. I was talking about this today with my younger daughter, in fact, who started ballet for the first time, and she was a bit nervous. She's 4 years old, and she was going, what if I'm no good at it? I said, you just got to keep practicing and practicing and practicing until you are.
And she only has to do it for a couple of years till she becomes a football player.
Absolutely. I'm sure if her mum's listening to this, she'll be more than happy with that. Look, they do say it's all those kind of things like yoga and ballet, and that could make you a good football player with balance and that kind of thing. There's plenty of quality footballers on show today. One of them here in Nicole Jalocca. Look at her swinging into the penalty area. It's important, though, that you try your best, isn't it, Michael, for youngsters watching, that you give 100%, you'd come off the field and go, OK, the other side was better than we were, but at least I can come off, hold my head up and say I gave my best.
Oh, I think as a side Tuggeranong this year, we have every side's had to work hard to get a win against us.
And that's been the good thing about the competition in Canberra as a whole, the WMPL and the men's MPL as well. There's been no real givens as a result this year. We've had a couple of anomalies in the WMPL, of course we have. You get that in any division as well. We've had some big wins, but on the whole, everybody's had to work hard for what they're getting, and Olympic are making Belconnen work hard for this one. 2-0, 32 minutes in. Wouldn't say it's against a run of play, but it possibly flatters Belconnen a little.
I think the game was evening out pretty well.
It's important that Olympic get the next one. Here's Bassa Silk. If they've got any hope to get back into the game. Field finds Fauna.
And as we said earlier, Olympic have got an ability to score goals.
That was a nice 1-2 with Gal. Fauna into the area. Rashart's touch is good. Woodman. But to Rashart once more. Jalocca takes over. Now Whittle, who took that second goal so well. Raymond, the building again here. Almost tried to slide it through. It came off Bassa Silk. Anti-Jaggerin was screaming for a handball.
Well, I'd probably go more ball to hand. I don't think they could do a lot about it.
I'm not sure she did it deliberately. You're quite right there. Field chips it forward. Obviously, you see that coaches see it differently, don't they?
We see it very differently.
If that was against you tomorrow, you'd be screaming for a handball and a red card and a penalty.
I'd like to think I'd accept the referee's decision in the good faith it was made.
Absolutely. I'd like to think that as well. Here's Clark. Pike has it on the near side. Raymond goes back to Clark. Looks to ping the ball forward. Fauna was back there. She'd read the run of Pike. She'll have to do it again here.
It is an interesting conversation piece how well, when you are on top, how many decisions seem to go your way during games.
It's always the same, isn't it? Referee makes a decision. 50% of the people here think it's correct. The other 50 say no. Just like that one there. High foot against Gracefield. Free kick to Belconnen United, indirect, of course. Days behind it. Wanted to go short. Kier's the only option out that side, so she's going to come to this near side to Pike. We know what good delivery she's got. That wasn't one of them, though. Commentator's curse. Yes. Clark. And that is handball.
Oh, I think that's going to please Ant.
throws his arms into the air in exasperation on the touchline here. And it's often how often that happens within seconds of a call going against you.
I'm sure, knowing Ant, he will let the referee know how that decision was made.
Well, I think he's doing it right this minute as you're talking. Having a quick chat with him. Ricardo Alberto in the middle, just ignoring the comments from the touchline. We'll get on with the football as Beck Keating clips it towards Meg McLaughlin. Call of handball from Anthony Jagarinik. It's Fauna. Gal is going to ask a little bit too much of Vanessa Ryan. She won't be able to keep that in. This roll on the pitch here at Belconnen, you can't really see it on the camera, but it does slope from the middle outwards to help with the drainage. And that ball can be unmerciless when it rolls away from you in the corner. It's got me on a couple of occasions in the past.
What are you doing out on that side of the pitch? I don't think you got out the 6-yard box.
Very rarely. I say I chased it. I just stood there watching it, to be fair. It just rolled away. Here's Raymond. Nice touch. Day in the middle of the park. Rashard. Belconnen happy to shift the ball across the back line. Clark finds Day. And this is what they do probably better than anyone in the league. Is keep possession and pick the ball when they needed to go forward. Ryan, who's been a standout for Olympic this half, loses out on that occasion to Pike. Off she goes. Foot in by Bassa Silk. Day.
She did well again then, Bronte. Chased that ball well. And it's great when you're a side such as Belconnen that you've got two attacking fullbacks that can put pressure on. I think Ant's still not over that handball.
He is a winner, Antti Jagarinik. And he has been with this Belconnen team for a number of years now. They've been the benchmark in Canberra for many a year. Look like being the same again this year. Unless one of these teams can turn them over in the final. And we're talking before, Michael, and I've had this chat with other people through the year. Belconnen United, as I said, the benchmark team. Look at the four that might join them, or three of the other four that might join them. Canberra FC, Canberra United Academy, Canberra Olympic, Gangala United. They all have their own qualities, and they'll play the game slightly differently. And on their day, you wouldn't be surprised if any one of them could knock off any of the others.
No, that's the beauty of Australian finals football. It's usually a 90-minute or the worst case 120-minute game. Anything can happen. And finals football affects players in different ways.
Certainly can. Anything can happen in football. You can even get lowly sides like Sheffield United drawing with Italian giants Inter Milan, as you told me before kick-off.
The rumour was that Milan were very lucky to get away with that as well.
Sure, they played all their superstars as well for the trip to Bramall Lane. Was it in Sheffield?
It was.
Good pre-season friendly for the fans there to watch. Plenty of pre-season football going on. We're concentrating on WNPL action here in Canberra. 10 minutes to half-time. 2-0 to Belconnen United. Goals from Jasmine Maguire and Maddie Whittle so far. And a free kick for Mickey Day to swing into the danger area.
On Belconnen, I think it would be a fantastic achievement for Ant if you can get this through this season undefeated. That would be and I think they only lost once last season, so 2 years losing one game would be a fantastic achievement.
Well, phenomenal achievement. They're on target for that at the moment. Only one draw this season in which they've dropped points. Day, flatter free kick. Joloka was there. Looks to set it back. The shot from distance is dipping, but was always going over the bar from Maguire. McLaren conceded twice. She hasn't had a huge amount to do, though, has she? It's not as if she's been peppered.
No, they've had a lot of the ball, but I think Olympic, as I say, 2-0 down, but have, in some ways, they'll be fairly satisfied how they've played.
Here's Clark at the back. Finds Keir. Rash art to this near side. Day. McLaughlin, who's been an isolated figure for quite a lot of the game up front. Had the unenviable task of chasing everything that's been sent forward. Here's Rashart. First time she's stepped out from defence today. Pike. Continue to run forward, Rashart. Here's Raymond. Day. Has to slide it forward, and chance perhaps for Gaspari to launch an Olympic counter-attack. Here's Gal. McLaughlin furthest forward. Helps it on its way towards Fauna, but that's bisected both Fauna and Dawson.
It's very impressive the way Belconnen, when they lose the ball, swarm the opposition to stop that breakaway. Very impressive tactics.
Pike. Ryan puts her under pressure. Tell you what, Vanessa Ryan, I saw her she played in the reserves game. She played about 65 minutes in that game. And she's off here starting in first grade, and she doesn't look like she's played at all, does she?
No, there's a good engine there, I think.
up and down this right-hand side. McLaughlin tries to find Gow. Woodman got there. McLaughlin with Rashart, and Rashart takes no chances and just smashes it out there to the right over.
Yeah, Meg put a bit of pressure, and I thought the defender reacted pretty well then.
Did exactly what she needed to do.
Yeah.
Got rid of
Would have been easy to panic.
Not in Jesse Rashart's nature to do so, though. His field. Jameson. Kaspari beaten to it by Jaloka. Belconnen want the throw and they get it. 6 minutes to half time. 2-0 here at McKellar. You're watching live football on Bar TV Sports. Hope you're enjoying it on a Saturday evening. No wind here.
There's a
Quite pleasant.
There's a wind chill starting to feel, though. I can feel the wind chill starting to come.
Must be just you. It's actually quite nice. Here's Day. Just prods it towards Pike. Very intelligent ball. Ryan's tracking her back, as normal. Raymond. Day again. Fauna snapping at her heels. Gives it away to McLaughlin. 2 ahead of her. Both in light blue shirts. McLaughlin on her own. No real support. And it came a bit too late in the form of Dawson. Keating. Jameson.
I think both sides would be disappointed with that bit of action. Belconnen disappointed to give the ball away, and Meg disappointed she couldn't make more of that opportunity in space.
Field. Keir's there. And almost left it for McLaughlin, but Rashart was in. That's a good-looking ball forward, which will find Whittle. Brings under a spell. Looks to get away from Jameson, who concedes a free kick. Left one in there on Maddie Whittle.
I think he left that whistle a little bit late, didn't he?
He was looking for an advantage that wasn't coming, was it?
It's an interesting choice for Eddie when he goes into half-time. You're 2-0 down against Belconnen, knowing that Belconnen will continue to come strong in the second half. Do you settle for a 2-0 defeat, or which could turn into a 4 or 5-0 defeat with your goal difference for your fourth spot, or do you try and get back into the game and change things up?
Well, it depends, isn't it? It's a very interesting one. He's got Kirsten Hertz, Nikki Bailey and Selina Vecchi as his only 3 substitutes. But defending this one at the moment is Keir swings that one in. He's nodded down by Bassa Silk, and Fauna completes the clearance. Clark to Raymond. Yeah, goal difference could well come into it. Like we said beforehand, Gungahlin were -1 heading to this weekend. Canberra Olympic were +10 before tonight. Day looks to send that forward. Field stabs it clear. Straight back to Mickey Day again, who's running the show for the Blue Devils. Raymond. Now Rashart. Centre back has been calm in possession all season. Day's ball forward. Chases on for Whittle, but Keating is back there. Won't roll out for her though, and the defender's forced to concede the throw.
They defended the wide areas very well today, Olympic. Belconnen known for speed in those wide areas, and they've defended them very well.
There's not been many crosses coming from there, has there?
No.
Gaspari finds Dawson now. She got a bit of space to run forward. Gives it back to Gaspari, who rather shanks it towards McLaughlin, who's going to get there though. Use her pace and strength. But here goes Raymond in the opposite direction. McLaughlin way back challenging, making up for her error. And then away from Jaloka. And then runs into Raymond. Can she find Whittle down the middle? Whittle's through here. McLaren comes out. And good bit of goalkeeping from the young Canberra Olympic stopper.
Good stop from Miriam. She did very well then. Very brave.
Came out sliding at the feet of the striker. Bassa Silk sends it forward. And the pressure on Clark forces the error. The throw in with a couple of minutes left of the first half. Won't be too much stoppage time, I wouldn't imagine.
Oh, it's been a fairly break-free game.
Bassa Silk takes a throw. Ryan helped it on, and Clark completes the clearance. Raymond. Jaloka. Raymond again. Field's going to win that battle, though, I would imagine.
This is where Belconnen are dangerous. 2 or 3 minutes before time. They've an uncanny knack at always getting a goal around this time of the game.
They play to the final whistle, don't they? Because they score a lot of late ones as well.
They do. They're a team that just keeps going. Ants got them well drilled, and they keep going.
Is Jaloka. They're without their super sub Jesse Williams today, though. Pike's turn. She usually comes on and scores with her first touch in each of the games I've done for her this year for Belconnen United. Their bench today: Sam Price, Alex Martins, Leah Carnegie, Acacia Argento, and Brittany Smale.
Not a bad bench to have.
Plenty of attacking talent there as well, isn't there? Giving that one away now. Dawson puts her head down, but she's quick, but she's not that quick.
No, and she was played very smart. Then she realised she wasn't going to get that and backed off.
Fauna, that's a nice first touch ball to McLaughlin. Tried to send it back to Fauna, I think, didn't quite wrap her foot around it enough.
I think Meg will be disappointed with that touch.
Kier, back to Rashart. It's important, I guess, from McLaughlin and Olympics persuasion that she doesn't get too frustrated, because she might get a chance, and she needs to be on fire when it comes to her. As you said before, you don't get too many against Belconnen, you need to make them count. But going back to the point you made earlier, a lot of the games we've done of Belconnen this year, they've whipped in crosses from left and right with unerring regularity, to be honest, and haven't had the chance to do that much today. Here's one into the area, bounced off of Raymond.
No, they've defended the wide areas really well. They've put pressure on the wingers.
And there's the half-time whistle. Ricardo Alberto says that will do for the first half. 2 goals, Michael, and on the balance, Belconnen probably deserve a lead. Whether 2-0 is flattering for them or not, what's your view?
I think, as always, Belconnen look strong, organised, generally control the play. I think Olympic, after conceding an early goal, which definitely wouldn't have been in the plan, got back into the game, played well, and would be disappointed to concede a second when they were just actually starting to get on top.
And then people like players like Alexia Fauna and Gracefield, in an attacking sense, they could get something back in the second half. We'll be back for it after this short break, where goals early on from Jasmine Maguire in the 6th minute, and then again from Maddie Whittle just before half-time have Belconnen United in the box seat and looking to extend their lead at the top of the WMPL. It's half-time here on Bar TV Sports at McKellar Park. It's Belconnen United 2, Canberra Olympic 0. Welcome back to McKellar Park, the second half of this live WMPL match from Canberra here at McKellar Park. It's Belconnen United 2, Canberra Olympic 0 at half-time. Canberra Olympic out on the field, ready for the start of the second half. I'm Russ Gibbs, your commentator. Michael Aldred, head coach of Tuggeranong United, is with me in the commentary position, tucking in to a bag of chips that he bought at half-time. How are they, Michael? They're good?
Actually, they're fantastic, to be honest. The best chips I've had for a long time.
There you go. If you want good chips, come to Belconnen United Football Club. I did have some before kick-off, to be fair, and they were very, very good. David Jordan from Capital Football helped me scoff them down before kick-off. He sat in the media box to our right in the warmth, tapping away on the keyboard while we're out here. I'm not going to say cold. It's not cold. For Canberra.
It's not cold for Canberra.
Or the north of England.
I'm starting to feel a bit of a chill, I'll be honest.
You've been here way too long. Looking at the two teams, let's have a look at the sides. The referee is Ricardo Alberto. You can see him in the middle coming out there, George Sanderson and Matt Kaczynski, despite both coaches having words with him in first half. I thought he's done very well so far, Ricardo Alberto. Looking at Belconnen's side, doesn't look like they've made any changes just yet. Their team, Lacey in goal, Keir, Clark, Rashart and Pike across the back four, Day, Woodman, Jalocka in midfield, Raymond, Whittle, Maguire up front. Canberra Olympic, no changes for them either, it would seem, which means they line up with McLaren in goal, Dawson, Keating, Bassasilk, Jameson across the back, Field, Gaspari and Fauna in midfield-ish, Ryan, McLaughlin and Gal, the nominal front three, but it's been more of a 4-5-1, hasn't it?
It has, and at times I felt they switched to just when they were starting to get on top, they switched to a 4-4-2. But again, then Belconnen pushed them back to a 4-5-1.
Olympic will start the second half, attacking the clubhouse end here at McKellar Park, the Belconnen Soccer Club end, I should say. How important is the next goal, Michael, in terms of if Olympic get it, they're back in it. If Belconnen get it, it's probably game over.
I think it's game over. Definitely if Belconnen get it. Belconnen have only conceded probably 5 or 6 goals this year, so I wouldn't imagine them conceding 3 in one game.
We're asking an awful lot if they did. Only one club, in fact, has scored against them twice this season, and that was way back in round 3, Woden Western. Didn't win, lost 3-2.
We say that, though, but Olympic are one of those teams that do seem to score in bursts.
And they have been scoring in the last few weeks. 8 against Woden Western, 5 against Tuggeranong, 4 against the Academy. Even a couple in defeat against Canberra United Academy, I should say. They got 4 against Canberra FC, so plenty of goals in the last few games.
They got a couple of lucky goals against Tuggeranong a few weeks ago.
Meg McLaughlin with only the 13 in the last 6. Not bad strike rate. Been a bit isolated today, though, and it's the Belconnen strikers that have been on top and scored the goals. Dawson wins that one. McLaughlin should be offside. Flag did go up. Should let it play on, though.
It's one of those you'd hope it'd come off the Belconnen foot and you were well in for a strike.
Would have been an opportunity. Clark looks for Pike. Helped on its way by Raymond to the fullback, who can't keep it in. Jasmine Maguire's having a tactical exchange with Antti Jagarinik here on the technical bench.
It looks as though there's a discussion about which is left and right.
Maguire's right out on the touchline. You'll see a jogging interview shortly. Here's Keating. Jameson.
And it's not a natural position. She's obviously very strongly left-footed, and she's been pushed on the right-hand side.
Whittle chasing in behind here. Keating looking to hold her off. Whittle's got there, though. Does very well, the striker. Looks to lay it off. Chance for Jalocka, who smashes it in off the underside of the bar, and it's away. Cleared by Bassasilk. Great effort from Nicole Jalocka. Keeper beaten, all ends up.
It's a fantastic strike, and I think Kent would be looking for goal line technology on that one. Would have been very close.
Great hit from Nicole Jalocka. McLaren saw it coming, could do nothing about it. The pace speeder. Here's Ryan on the far side. Bassasilk helping it forward, but it's been picked off again by Jalocka. Field will clear.
And maybe that's one of the messages Ants give out at half-time. They played some very attractive football, but sometimes forgot to let go of the shot. So maybe we might see some more shots in this second half.
Well, let's hope so. Make for a much better second half from our point of view, if that's the case. We do need Olympic, in terms of a spectacle, to probably score next.
I think that would put a bit of intrigue into the game because, as we say, Olympic can get on a bit of a roll with goals. And one more would put some pressure on Belconnen.
As Belconnen 2-0 up at the moment. Those goals in the first half. Jasmine Maguire in the 9th minute, set up by Maddie Whittle. And Whittle herself scoring on the half hour, or just before. Is Raymond looking to find Whittle. Comes off Raymond. Good pressure again. Nice little back heel that by Maguire. And here's a chance perhaps. And good piece of defending by Bassasilk just to shield that one back.
She did, and Miriam did very well as well to come out and smother that at the striker's feet.
And the importance of communication between both centre-back and goalkeeper right there. McLaughlin looking to battle with Keir. Concedes a free kick. Lauren Keir comes from a family of sporting people. Seems to have been around for ages, didn't she, Lauren Keir, in the Belconnen setup?
Very experienced player.
Fauna touches that forward to McLaughlin. Tries to bring Gow into the play, but Jaloka's back there. She'd be disappointed she didn't add to her 2 goals this season with that thumping effort that came back off the bar.
The game seemed to settle back into its first half rhythm.
Field has had lots of touches, but probably not far enough forward as far as Olympic concerns. They're definitely missing Ma and Rojan, though, aren't they, in that middle three?
I think they missed that level of creativity and that level of experience in that middle of the park.
And the goal-scoring ability as well. Here's Jaloka. Nicely done. Good clearance by Keating. Now Ryan. Gaspari tried to give it back to Ryan. Turning over the ball a little bit too easily at the moment, though. The dark blue shirts. Day.
I think Olympic will be hoping they get 2 of their star players back for next week's game.
Is Dawson. Pike sends that one forward. The chase is on for Raymond. And Bassasilk's across well. For someone who's not a natural defender, Grace Bassasilk's done exceptionally well back in that situation. She's been put there a few times this season and looks very comfortable.
She does. Maybe a new opportunity for her.
Day swings it forward. Here's Pike. Looking to get a regular shot away. Guarantees she's going to get 1 or 2 a game. Here's Raymond. Finds Day. Woodman. Overhits that one. I was talking last week.
That's asking a bit much of a fullback.
We were talking last week with Steve Forsher in commentary for the Olympic Word Western game that Grace Bassasilk, excellent futsal player, and you can see it with the touch and the confidence and the calmness she brings to that position when she's got the ball.
Oh, certainly, yeah. An excellent first touch and a level of assurance when she gets the ball where she knows she's going to put it.
And Beck Keating very much in the same mould. Very comfortable, all of them on the ball, and it does help if you've got central defenders that are calm in possession.
I think Beck Keating is one of the best centre-halves in the competition, to be honest. I think the way she reads the play, she sometimes does things very simple, which is very much underrated.
Rashart. Forward to Woodman. Now Keir, that's too short. Now here's McLaughlin. Chance for her to maybe put her head down and run at Rashart. Goes in and out, and then stumbles to the floor. No free kick, says Ricardo Alberto. They will get a throw, though.
Again, a strength of Belconnen. Ball given away, but within 20-30 seconds, they've got it back again.
Coughed it up to Olympic, though. Jameson with the throw. Gets it back from Gaspari. Maguire's put the pressure on. Keating's ball forwards. Fauna. Jameson. McLaughlin was looking to let that one come through and try and ride the challenge of Rashart, but it was intercepted before it got there, and Clark sent the Blue Devils on the way with a raking pass out towards Pike. Great ball that is.
Fantastic ball.
And Pike is past Bassasilk. She's got support inside from Whittle. Here is Madeline Whittle. Looks to the shoot, and McLaren was behind it and just palms it away to herself.
Again, 20 seconds from ball being in the Belconnen half to having a shot.
Here they come again as well. Jaloka clips that one out of play, unfortunately for her. Olympic trying to find a way back into this contest. 8 minutes gone in the second half. Jaloka's there in front of Gow to win it. Now finds Whittle. Flag stays down. Whittle into the area. Jaloka's there as well. Olympic do just enough to half clear it. Maguire might come straight back again, though. Now Day.
Nice level of calmness there.
Raymond slides it forward. Nice touch from Whittle. Great move this. Here's Mickey Day, and blocked by Field. Beautiful move there from the Blue Devils.
No, excellent defending as well to put your foot in there when a shot would have been easy to let go.
Something's building there from the Blue Devils. You can feel it, can't you? Whittle trying to get on the end of that one. I'm going to put the pressure on. Good defending from Jameson.
And now this is where you want a level experience in Olympic. Just take your time, get back into shape. Let's make sure we're ready for this goal kick and keep the ball.
McLaren to take it. Finds Dawson. Keir wins the ball there.
Fortunately, comes straight back again.
Here's Jalocka advancing forward. This is danger time. Nicole Jalocka looking to shift it to that right foot.
Good defending there.
Didn't fancy the inside channel, did she, on her left?
No.
Still on that right foot. Back to Keir. And in the end, that's a fairly ambitious ball into the penalty area. But Jalocka was running at the defence there, and there's no more dangerous side, I guess, as an Olympic player than seeing Nicole Jalocka with that quality that she's got running at you.
And you were right, the defender showed the inside to her, but she didn't take that. But well defended.
Just thought she might shift it onto that left foot and have a pop from that range. Easily said and done from where we are, though.
30 years ago we might have done it.
Maybe. Pushing it a bit. Gaspari. Fauna, who's been neat and tidy. And robbed in midfield, here's Jalocka again. Opportunity once more to run at the defence. Maguire looks to return the ball. All a bit too intricate in and around the edge of the Olympic box, so falls for Raymond. Snapshot on the turn, and McLaren has to plunge to her left to gather the ball. No pace on it, but a little bit too intricate around the box.
Sometimes I think you just got to release a little bit early.
Gal, Olympic needs someone, as Michael said, to get their foot on the ball. They keep coughing it up. They do again. Here's Whittle. Plenty of shirts to pick from. One of them's Jalocka. Flag goes up. This won't count, even though she's put it wide anyway. But that turning over of the ball in the middle of the park against a team of this quality is asking for trouble.
It is at this moment in time, in the last 5 minutes. I don't think Belconnen's managed, Olympic stories had managed to put more than 2 or 3 passes together.
It's been difficult for them. It's been difficult for a side which I guess as well, Michael, is very attack-minded in its origins, and Eddie Senatori wants them to play attacking football, to switch from the mindset where last week they were gung-ho. Yeah. They could have had 15 or 20, with a bit of luck, with the chances to come their way. McLaughlin got 6, could have had 10, some good saves from the keeper, some bad misses. But then you come out here today and you're playing a completely different game. To switch on the mentality must be quite difficult for some of these players.
It is, I think, and that's the challenge also playing Belconnen. Ant's done a fantastic job over the last few years to build this wall of invincibility against him, and people get nervous when playing him and just don't play your normal game.
Here they come again with Woodman. Let's say that they've not been in sparkling form this year, but since the 7-0 beating of Olympic in round 11, they've beaten Woden 5-0, they've beaten Canberra away 2-0, they had the draw with Gungahlin, they beat the Academy 5-1, they beat Monero 3-0, they beat you guys 6-0 last week. It's not as if they've been steamrolling opposition, but they're just so efficient. And when they need to win, they step up a gear, and they've probably got another couple of gears in them as well.
Yeah. And I think the common thread to that is 0-0-0.
Well, we'll come back.
They don't concede.
I was going to say, sorry, they're going to cut you off then. I thought they were going to be in. You're quite right. Only the 2 goals, the 2 goals in 6, 7 in those 7 games, and like you say, all season they've hardly conceded at all. 2 in round 3 against Woden West in a 3-2 win. 1 in round 4 against Olympic in a 3-1 win. Other than that, the 1-1 draw against Gungahlin in round 14 and 5-1 against the Canberra United Academy. Other than that, clean sheets the whole way.
And that's a fantastic base to build a side on, and Ant deserves a bit of credit for, while we applaud his attacking prowess as a team, I think the way they built the defence is very much underrated. What is it? Defence win finals?
Yeah, Lauren Keir, Bronte Pike, Jessie Rashart and Karen Clark has been mainstays across there for the whole season, and you can see why. They're comfortable in possession, they know each other's game really well. But let's see if Canberra Olympic can find a way to break them down. Fauna, who's looked like lively this afternoon. Keating needs to be in control of this situation, and she is.
And it's like you said, there's a mindset. If you know your team aren't going to concede, there's a level of freedom to play forward.
And you have that faith in your front players as well. You're looking at people like Maddie Whittle on 14 goals this season as well. You've got a striker at the other end that you've got faith in that's going to get you a goal if the chance comes. And that's how you build championship winning teams. Keep them out at one end, score at the other. Sounds fairly simple, doesn't it?
I can honestly say it's not that simple.
We'd all be doing it if it was that simple. Here's Whittle, dancing through a couple of challenges. Still going, Maddie Whittle. Great solo run this is. Couldn't force her way past the final player. Would have been a superb solo goal. Very messy-like, the way she ghosted past the attempted tackles. Here's Dawson. Looking for McLaughlin, who got there ahead of Woodman. Does well there, Meg McLaughlin. Finds Dawson. Gal helps us on its way to Fauna. There's a overlap out right if they can find Ryan, but she looks a bit tired now, Vanessa Ryan. Not surprised considering she played that hour and a bit in the reserves as well.
It will be interesting if the score stays this way another, say, maybe 15, 20 minutes, whether Eddie feels there's an opportunity to put Grace a little bit more forward to give Mick some support.
Rashad at the back. Switches it to Clark. She looks to clip that ball over the top. They do like that ball down the wing to the fullbacks. Ryan was in the way this time. Field looks to send Ryan again. She looks like she's running on her last reserves at the moment, doesn't she, Vanessa Ryan?
And that's the compliment to Olympic when you do play Belconnen. You know, they like the ball over the top for their wingers, fast wingers to run onto, but Olympic have defended that pretty well.
They've not been without their opportunities in the final third either, Olympic. It's been few and far between, but when they've got set pieces, they've caused some issues. McLaughlin's ran hard. Just missing that little bit of quality that perhaps the missing players might have provided. But they're still in the contest. We're not running them off just yet. Half an hour to play live on Bar TV Sports. It's Belconnen 2, Canberra Olympic 0 here in the WMPL.
I think, as we said before, 2-0 is a very dangerous scoreline. You're in total control. Suddenly 2-1, it's game on again.
I'm hearing over at Monero at Hawker, it was at one stage Canberra United Academy 4, Monero Panthers 0. So it looks like the Academy are going to pick up 3 points there, and a massive result in the Men's Premier League this afternoon. A late goal from Nicholas Vijafanya, I think, has given Tigers FC a 3-2 win over Riverina Rhinos. They were 2-0 up, and the Rhinos got back to 2-2, and that late goal from the Argentinian has put the Tigers right in the frame for the top four. Huge result that is for them.
That's going to go down to the last day. I believe Coomera are playing Belconnen on the last day.
Massive game that is. Could be all to play for. We're live with Belconnen United tomorrow at Deakin Stadium as they take on possibly a weary Canberra FC after their exploits in the FFA Cup this week. Went down 4-1 to Broadmeadow Magic on Wednesday.
I must say, on the men's MPL, it's fantastic to see the Tuggeranong boys challenging for those positions.
Looking nervously over their shoulder at the moment, though, as those teams close in on them. Mitch Stevens done a great job there at Tuggeranong, and he'll be hoping that his boys can pick up the points they need to make the finals. It looked all but done at one stage, but a couple of setbacks in recent weeks with the upturn of form of Belconnen, and the Tigers has put the pressure on, but it's good to see in terms from a neutral point of view that football in Canberra is strong. When they got the teams, I was in Griffith last week, watched Riverina beat Canberra Olympic 1-0. The team close to the bottom of the table beating a team close to the top.
I think, especially in the men's competition, anyone can beat. Oh,
here's Raymond into the area, tries their luck, crossing it across goal. Half a hot shot, half a cross. No harm done.
As I was saying, I think the men's competition certainly is the fact that anyone can beat anyone on their day, and it's a very strong competition. All 8 teams are very, or 9, 10 teams are very strong in their own way.
I'm talking about that the other day with David Jordan from Capital Football. There's been no real blowouts in the men's comp this year. There's been a 7-2 Canberra FC against Tigers with a player sent off for the Tigers, 2-2. That blew out, and the only other one was Tigers winning 7-0 in Riverina, and they've got that in them. Other than that, there's been a couple of 5-0s, but everything's been really competitive, and we've seen a fair bit of that in the women's MPL as well.
I think so. I think, as I say, most teams are giving everyone a game. It's just at the pointy end of some games, there's a level of quality some of us haven't got.
And that was another point I was going to make, Michael, as we watch Belconnen build up from the back. The good sides seem to be able to play in spurts and score goals in spurts, or even at the end of the match when perhaps the fitness is lacking a little bit, they can come away and put 2 or 3 more in and make the scorelines look worse than what they actually are.
And I think we've found that this season. We've been competitive in all games, but there's times when we've been on top and we haven't done anything about it, and teams have managed to get that goal against us, and through our lack of depth, we struggle towards the end sometimes.
Maybe it'll turn around for that young Tuggeranong side at some stage. Maybe it'll start tomorrow against Gungahlin United. One of 2 WMPL matches tomorrow. The other being Woden Western against Canberra FC. Canberra FC we'll be hoping they can get a result, especially with Canberra United looking like they're going to rack up another 3 points today.
I think on the Tuggeranong perspective, I think it has been a hard year, but we're in a very good place for next year to build on what we've done this year.
Here's Jalocca for Belconnen United, looking to go 11 points clear at the top of the table. Looking likely at the moment, unless Olympic can do something about it. Here's Lily Dawson, under pressure from Keir. Will nudge in the back there. Free kick to Olympic.
And that's the strength of Belconnen. 2-0 up, coasting, or in reality coasting, and still every player going for every ball.
Jameson with the free kick. Left-footed, looks to send it forward. Gow touches it towards Dawson. Tried to prod it into the path of McLaughlin, but Rashart was there. McLaughlin, though, catches her dawdling and has to rely on Karen Clark to clear. First time we've seen Rashart caught tonight. Field fans Keating.
I think more increasingly, Meg's looking a little bit isolated at the top of the field there.
Asking a lot of her. Here she is. Has scored 21 goals in a very short space of time. Didn't start the season with Olympic. Had a bit of time off and they managed to talk her around to come into play some football. Round about round 7 or so, I think that might have been. And she just bagged in goal after goal since then. Probably not going to win the Golden Boot, though, as Aoife Colville just can't stop scoring for the Canberra United Academy. She was up to 30 before today.
It's pretty impressive, isn't it?
30 in, 16 games if she's played them all. I'm not sure she has either, so very impressive. We know they've scored at least 4 over at Hawker. Whether she's got any of those, we'll try and clarify before the end of the evening. Day wins a header.
As we said earlier, with the teams that are looking to get in the finals, will be a very interesting final series.
Yeah, we're looking forward to it. You can watch it all on Bar TV Sports.
With the interesting one that Canberra United are in the finals this year.
For the first time, they're allowed to play in finals, and that gives them something to play for as well, which is a good thing. Be interesting to see how they go against the might of Belconnen and anybody else they might encounter. I love finals football. It's usually a bit warmer as well.
If I remember, the last few finals days have been on scorching days.
Lovely, hasn't it? I've been commentating in short sleeve t-shirts. It's been great.
Unfortunately, I've been commentating or helping or watching and not coaching.
Rather be on the bench, having a coach. Well, if you can't be there, second best place to be is right up here on Bar TV Sports, giving us your knowledge. Here's Whittle. Switch sides for the moment. Off she goes on one of those runs again. She just glides past players as if they're not there when she's in full flow. Here's Day. It's sat up. She thought about it. Chips it into the area. Field clears. Dawson tries to find Jameson, but she's robbed by Keir. Here's Whittle. Slides it across. Grill chance here. Somehow McLaren's kept it out. Raymond slid in. And more by luck than judgment, I think McLaren just spread the body and it struck her. But decent save from the keeper.
It's the same situation, though. If they get round your back, the balls are coming in for a quick tapping.
Great ball across from Whittle. She's been on good form this evening. Day, another who's impressed upon her return. Tries to force it past Gaspari, who's been willing in the middle, hasn't she, Kira Gaspari? She's worked hard for her team. Chiara, I should say. Chiara
I think
Gaspari.
Eddie will be quite pleased with how the team have coped today. Again, without 2 senior players in the tide. That will make all the difference if they do reach the finals.
Can't say that the replacements that have come in have not done a job, though. Alexia Fauna has been very, very good, and Vanessa Ryan's worked incredibly hard. Here's Gaspari. Nice ball on the turn to McLaughlin. Ryan's made the run. Pike's there, though.
That was asking a lot of her, wasn't it?
Plenty of pace in Bronte Pike as well. Rangy stride, the fullback. Gow. Woodman does well to turn her. Jalocca picks up the ball as it came through. Rashart. Now Day. Looks to send that towards Raymond. She's going to get there off of Fields, but that should be harmless enough. Keating's there. McLaren's come to fetch. She's done well, the young goalkeeper today, I thought.
She's done very well. I am led to believe, and I'm maybe wrong, but I think it's maybe her last game before she flies back to America.
Really? Okay, I'm not sure about that at all. We could probably check later. Here's McLaughlin chasing this one. If it is, it's going to leave a big hole for them to try and fill Olympic. It's a free kick. Mickey Day. The shirt pull. Probably lucky to get away with the yellow card there.
I thought his hand was in his pocket ready to give one.
Probably should have been. I mean, if that's not
I think that's
a
the
yellow card, I'm not sure what
I
is.
think the question, Eddie's asking that question.
Yeah. Well, they're breaking up a promising attack, and there's that as well. But anyway, dodged a bullet there, I think. It's out towards Ryan, still putting a shift in. Raymond, who was denied moments ago by that save by McLaren. It's Forner. Flag goes up early against McLaughlin. Ooh, that was tight as well.
That would have been tight.
So the free kick to Belconnen. I think that was a fair question from Eddie Senatori as well. It looked like a yellow card from where we were. Let's hope he doesn't do brandish one in a minute to make up for it. Rashad, he's done pretty well though, Ricardo Alberto, considering brought back into the WMPL structure because of the shortage of referees, and this is only, I think, his second game back.
He refereed last week for us, and he certainly lets the game flow.
Tries to let it flow, like you say, and he's doing a good job today. It is flowing. There's been too many free kicks. Clark.
It is a challenge at this moment in time with referees in Canberra.
Well, Rudman's chasing through. Yeah, we could talk about that for hours. The refereeing situation. I think it's not just in Canberra as well. I think it might be Australia-wide and possibly worldwide as well.
Yeah, we do struggle with quantity and how we can get referees respecting them, wanting to referee.
That's the difference, isn't it? Here's Whittle. They're going to put the turbochargers on again. Great ball across the face of goal. I think McLaren did enough to get a fingertip to it. But Whittle once again showing her pace and skill.
It's interesting, she seems to have swapped with Jasmine, and Jasmine has gone more in the centre. And it seems to be working for Belconnen. They're creating more.
It's worked an absolute treat, doesn't it, so far? Dawson's back trying to clear. Gaspari helps it on its way. Here's Mickey Day. She likes to strike them from here. Declines the shot, though. Here's Jaloka into the penalty area. Still going Jaloka. Quick free from Nicole Jaloka. That's absolutely superb from Nicole Jaloka in its creation and its execution. It's a superb third goal. 3-0.
Fantastic goal. I'm just stood here thinking, oh, shoot. And she took it longer than I thought she would, but a fantastic finish.
Nicole Jaloka, who hit the underside of the crossbar earlier in the half, makes it 3-0, and that's probably game over. Long way back from Olympic from here.
Very much so, and I think Olympic will be... Eddie will probably be keeping one eye on the team for next week now.
Well, maybe that's what Anthony Jagarinik is doing, because he's withdrawn Jasmine Maguire. Leah Carnegie replaces her immediately after the third goal.
Doing very well, Jasmine.
Just under 20 minutes to play here then, and that's probably the crucial third. Jaloka did threaten earlier. We said she had the ability to go through and tuck that one away with the left foot. Makes you wonder why she didn't pick it the inside earlier on. Here's Whittle. Here's a chance for Raymond through the middle as well. Could this be another? That's a great piece of defending.
Well defended.
But I think it was Bassa Silk back there. Wins her team a free kick. All of a sudden it threatened to open up again.
And this is the challenge with Belconnen. We've been in many situations, same as this season. We had them at 1-0 at half-time. They suddenly score with around 20 minutes to go, and they don't take the foot off the pedal. The pedal will go harder and harder, so Olympic need to be careful this doesn't blow out.
Well, it becomes that situation we talked about in the first half. Do they now say, OK, the goal difference is a big thing for us? We might be a couple of points behind Gungahlin if they win tomorrow against Tuggeranong, but we play them in a couple of weeks, and a win there
should be enough for them.
Might well be enough. Here's Kia. Not quite sure who Gungahlin have left to play this season as well. But that's next Sunday. Gungahlin United versus Canberra Olympic. Huge game in the context of the WMPL.
It's probably the second best game next week, just behind Tuggeranong and Monaro.
Big match for different reasons at the bottom half of the table. Tuggeranong eyeing the first point of the season and hoping to get one before the end of the year. Certainly in terms of character and endeavour, they probably deserve one, Michael.
I think we certainly do. I think if most teams are honest this year, we've given them a game. Most teams a good game this season.
Here Olympic trying to find a way back. It's a long way back. It's a mountainous climb for them at 3-0 down against a Belconnen United side who just seem to ease their way through games and do enough to get the points. They've done so again today. They're going to go 11 points clear with Canberra FC playing tomorrow. They're going to have a game in hand as well once Canberra FC play again tomorrow. That game in hand is against Canberra United Academy, which has been moved to the end of the season. It was scheduled for Wednesday, but they've moved that to the end of the season now. Here's Day looking for Raymond down the flank. She won't quite keep that in.
I think next week could be a celebration. They may have clinched the title by next week, I think.
They could well do, depending on how Canberra FC go tomorrow. They'll be favourites to pick up the points against Woden Western, but it won't be easy. Here's a couple more changes. Sam Price is coming on. Looks like Raymond and Day are coming off.
Great luxury to have, bringing two of your experienced players off.
Alex Martins will come in probably into the midfield role where Mickey Day was, and Price will go out wide, I'd imagine. Although I'm not Anthony Jagarinik, so not privy to what he's thinking. That would be the likelihood, though.
I think he'll be well pleased with the shift the two girls that have come off have put in tonight.
And as you say, two players that have come on that would probably not disgrace the first-team jersey of any other side of the league. Here's McLaughlin looking to put the pace down, and Clark needs to be wary because Dawson was closing in, and Dawson did enough to force the error. Still hope, though, I guess, for Olympic with 15 minutes to go.
Football's a funny game. Get one goal back, a couple of experienced players have come off. You never know.
Here's Fauna. Jameson helps it forwards. Rashart wins the header.
It would need something special, though.
Would be amazing, wouldn't it? If they did, his Dawson would be probably one of the most upsets of the season if they could come back from here.
Be like Manchester United winning a league title.
It's not that improbable. Here's Woodman. Now Dawson. Rashart finds Clark. Belconnen United. Have they got more in store, or are they happy with 3-0? Bounces over Dawson's head.
I think knowing Ant a little bit, he'll keep pushing this side on. They won't settle for 3-0.
Jaloka finds Woodman. It's a bit of a loose pass, and Gal picks it up. Vanessa Ryan, don't know how she's still going, to be fair. Great engine. Here's Whittle.
She certainly knows she's played a game tonight.
Whittle again, got it back. Madeline Whittle advancing forward, or tried to find the run of Carnegie, who'd cut across the marker. Opened up for a moment there for Whittle for a shot. Very unselfish. Kia has it.
Game's gone a little bit flat now. Even on the pitch, it's very quiet.
That third goal's really killed it off, hasn't it, as a contest? Kia. Still some intriguing individual battles out there, though. Something to keep our eye on. Woodman. Nicely done that. Open the field up for Clark. Off she goes. She'll get a nosebleed if she's not careful. Straight in the back of Ryan. Martins. Flag goes up. Offside against Whittle on the far side.
That would have been a tight call.
Pardon?
I think that would have been a tight call. I think the linesman was just checking to see if his arm was still working. Let
Olympic off the hook if that's the case. Free kick to Canberra Olympic. Time ticking away. Temperatures plummeting as we speak. Clark hooks that one out. No blood moon tonight, is there, Michael? I don't know enough about that kind of thing.
I must, to be honest, I didn't set the alarm for this morning, did you?
No, I didn't. Don't need to. Got a 4-year-old daughter who wakes me up at 3 a.m. anyway.
Practicing a ballet.
Absolutely.
Which is all part of the plan to get her ready for soccer when she's
Massively the plan. So my wife's not listening. And if you're listening and you know my wife, don't tell her. Throw into Olympic.
We've already got the Tuganon registration all ready for her.
Well, you know all about that. A couple of daughters that play.
I've got a couple of twin 13-year-old girls who do play the game.
And loving it as well.
At times.
Women and girls football in the ACT is, all jokes aside, massive now. The numbers are through the roof, and we've got some good pathway up to Canberra United in the W League as well. You can see a real pathway for junior footballers in Canberra going from girls up to the Matildas all the way through.
I think
that can only be a good thing.
It is, and there's a fair bit of work to do, and I think we've got to strengthen the whole game across Canberra. But we're moving in the right direction.
We've seen some good football out here at McKellar Park this evening. Belconnen United leading Olympic 3-0. Dawson wins the free kick. A little shove by Keir. Fauna, who's one of those who's come up through that pathway. Certainly showing there's plenty of talent in Canberra. Here's Jamieson with the free kick then. Chance for Olympic to send some shirts forward. Maybe an opportunity for them to get what would probably be just a consolation round about now, but clipped into the penalty. It's a good ball in. Picked up by Jalocka though. Now Whittle.
I think
that's a great recovery tackle, and there's a bit of a clash between them both here, and the referee should probably stop this one. McLaughlin just sends that one out, almost out of the stadium. Both players went down clutching their head. I'm surprised the referee didn't stop that earlier.
Hopefully they're both okay.
It's a great challenge back. I think it was Beck Keating, was it, sliding in there to win the ball back. It was a real full-blooded challenge between her, and I think it was Whittle who picked herself up off the ground. As it is, we're back with a throw anyway, and Belco will probably give this back to Olympic, who give it promptly straight back again. I'm not quite sure that Grace Bassasilk was on the right page there, same page as everybody else.
No, I think she missed what was happening there.
Anyway, back underway with the action. Martins is in the middle of the park. Pike sends it forward, nicely rolls. Bassasilk beaten by Whittle. Off she goes. Been very sharp this evening, Maddie Whittle.
And Bassasilk came back well, though, against a very speedy player. She put some pressure on that.
It's been a good battle, that one, isn't it?
It is. Two good young players.
There's been plenty of those, as I said, all around the park. Canberra Olympic, though, have 10 minutes to try and force their way back into a contest. They're 3-0 down. Goals from Jasmine Maguire and Maddie Whittle in the first half, and a super solo effort from Nicole Jalocka with 20 minutes remaining. Probably put the seal on the match in terms of the result. As I said, tomorrow afternoon, live from Deakin Stadium, Bar TV Sports, Canberra FC versus Belconnen United in the Men's Premier League. Big game, that one for Belconnen, following Tigers' victory this afternoon over Riverina.
Be fantastic if Belconnen could pick up some points there. Would really make the season exciting towards the end.
I'll be joined by Frank Keisha, head coach of Canberra Olympic, and he'll be hoping for a Belconnen win, I'm sure. Here's Woodman with Olympic there or thereabouts at the top of the table as well.
They've done very well again, Olympic, consistent year after year, especially the last 3 or 4 years.
They were very disappointed last week down in Griffith to get beaten 1-0. And again, they probably should have got something from. But that's football. We've seen that plenty of times down the year, teams dominating games and not winning.
And it's not an easy trip.
It's a tough one. It's becoming tougher and tougher as well, especially for the Rhinos, who get a result, and that gives them a big belief that they can do it against anyone down there.
The funny thing is,
well, here's a chance on the turn. That's a thumping effort. An absolute belter once again from Madeline Whittle. She lined it up from range and just thrashed it into the top corner. And no chance for McLaren. It's 4-0.
Fantastic shot. I think we've sort of been saying sometimes in a position she's been in today to have a shot early, and she did that time, and fantastic finish. Again, just shows the difference in quality sometimes. If you've got players who can finish in that manner.
15 for the season for Maddie Whittle. And it's number 15 who's going to come on, Acacia Argento. Is that her last touch of the football? Not a bad one.
No, I think she'd be happy with that. She played very well tonight. She's got fantastic speed, good ball control. Very talented player.
And probably the best player on the park in the second half in terms of attacking-wise anyway. She's been ghosting past players, causing all sorts of problems, and gets her just reward with one that will be up there for goal of the season.
Every time she got near the ball, we knew something was going to happen.
And she gets a well-deserved rest for the final 15 minutes or so. Is there more to come? Field Loses out. Here's the first touch for Argento, the young substitute. Woodman.
And now with the squad Ant's got, he's now got young, hungry players on who want to impress to try and get into this team.
It doesn't get any easier for Eddie Senatorian. Canberra Olympic does it. Here's Bassa Silk, who could be a little bit aggrieved. I think all of the back four can be feeling a little aggrieved that they've conceded 4. Price.
So no one's played badly. It's just the level of pressure eventually it tells.
That's exactly it. There's not been a poor display, I don't think, by Olympic. It's just been a very efficient one again from Belconnen. That's a lovely ball out wide from Clark to Pike.
I think Olympic have just got to be careful now. As we said before, it doesn't blow out in the last 5-10 minutes. Belconnen are very strong.
Well, that's going to bring it down to +6 in terms of the goal difference for Olympic. Gungahlin United, as I mentioned, waiting in the wings. Tuggeranong United tomorrow. And then a big one next week against Canberra Olympic. Could be crucial in who takes that 4th place on the league ladder in the WMPL. And goal difference may well come into it if good results go the way they might. And this could be a corner for Belconnen, a chance for them to heap a bit more pressure on and improve their goal difference, which at the moment stands an incredible +69 from 17 games. Take that.
I'd take that every day of the week, I think.
I'm not going to argue with it. Can I get another here? Swung in towards the near post. Half cleared by Olympic, and it should be Gaspari bringing this one away. Looks for McLaughlin, who's ploughed a lone furrow up front and does well to win the throw off of Bronte Pike.
It was good defending there.
Gaspari. Jameson. Gal. Good pressure from Woodman. Keating. She's under pressure as well. And Jameson can only send that one out of play. We're going to see Brittany Smale shortly. 5th and final substitution for Belconnen.
Again, just shows the level of their bench. They've made 5 substitutions and the level of quality hasn't dropped at all.
Lauren Keir's done.
If we do anything, it's brought a new level of energy on these young players on trying to impress.
So Lauren Keir comes off. Olympic haven't made any substitutions yet. As you said, 5 have been made by Belconnen. That's the maximum in WMPL these days, isn't it?
Yeah.
Gives everyone some game time as well. I think it's a good change to the system to allow that many substitutes. Here's Bassa Silk, who's put in a tremendous shift. McLaughlin tries to turn rash hard. First touch for Smale. Carnegie looking for the ball over the top towards Argento. Might fall for her here, and out comes McLaren. She's beating her to it. The flag goes up. This won't count. No goal. I think Argento was flagged, in fact, first when she got there before she touched it past the goalkeeper.
It's that strange rule, isn't it? In the olden days, you put the flag up straight away. Now you've got to wait for them to touch it.
And who was there lurking on the far post to tap it in with 4 minutes to go? The left back. Bronte Pike storming forward. Maybe she's got, I don't know if she's got a bet with someone that she's going to get double figures this season. I'm not sure. Wouldn't bet against it.
No, I wouldn't bet against it. She does have a habit of getting in the right place at the right time.
Well, she was there again, only the flag denied her. What would have been a 5th goal of the evening for the Blue Devils. Into the final 4 minutes, plus what limited stoppage time we might get. Here is Pike. Chance out wide for Carnegie to lift this into the penalty area. It might fall for Bronte Pike on that left foot. She drives one goalwards, dipping over the crossbar. She's desperate for a goal.
That was the chance there. Sign of a good side, though, when your fullbacks are scoring.
Absolutely, and like I said, she's got 6 this season. Centre-back Jessie Rashart has 4. And confidence in their defensive teammates to go forward and have a pop from there. It's been a fairly comprehensive performance this from Belconnen. Thoroughly deserved win. Have they got another goal for us before the end of the game? Is Argento looking to slide the ball into the penalty area? Jaloka was looking to pick her way through this Olympic defence, but that's well done defensively once again by Bassa Silk.
This is one of the strengths of Belconnen. They just keep coming.
Yeah, wave after wave of light blue shirted attacks in this second half, and Nat Lacey's been a virtual spectator. I'm struggling to recall her touching the ball much in this second 45.
And in this weather, I bet she can't feel her feet.
Temperature has dropped quite dramatically since half-time. Here's Gal. Price has acres of space in which to work. Clark finds Rashart. Ball forward to Woodman. Jameson picks it off. Finds Dawson, but Woodman's back there again.
I think that was a symptom of the game. Belconnen passing the ball.
Volunteer comes off of Bassasilk, defends that well again, and McLaren's there once more.
Olympic winning it within 2-3 passes. Belconnen get it back.
In terms of the best players on the park for Olympic, Bassasilk would have to be up there.
I think so. And Grace has had a very strong game in the back line.
Here's Woodman. Smale. Woodman once more. Nice touch by Martins to Price. Good build up this. Almost got Carnegie through. Gaspari finds Keating. McLaughlin uses her body well. Tries to find Dawson. Bit of willing runner, hasn't she, made McLaughlin throughout the 90 minutes. Not had it all her own way, but she certainly made sure it's kept Clark and Rashard honest at the back.
She's definitely made them honest. So from a lack of support, I think, tonight.
Yeah, the players that are usually in and around her are just a little bit too deep. Forced back by a very strong Belconnen team. Carnegie finds Price, looking to finish the game in the final 60 seconds on the front foot. Clark sends it forwards. Good tracking back by Bassasilk again. Martins is there. Now Price. Goes back to Rashard. Pike. Back to Rashard again.
Just playing out of time now, I think. You see Olympic back five, waiting for things just to come on.
To find Argento. Martins might go back in the same routes. Here's half a chance for the young substitute. Opportunity to poke it goalwards, and she scores! Acacia Argento took advantage of a bit of a mix-up in the back and just stabs it into the bottom corner, and Belconnen bring up 5.
I think, as we say, what's that, 2 goals in the last 15 minutes? It's just the strength. They're continuously looking for that extra goal, and that's how they put goals on teams at the end.
It's unusual. It's not been a 5-0 game, has it, from where I've been sat? It's been one of those games which Belconnen have had the better of it by far and the better chances, but 5-0 seems a bit harsh.
No, I can vouch for that. We lost 6-0 last week, and it definitely was a 6-0 game.
But that's Belconnen United. That's what they've got. We said they score late, and they did again. They keep going to the 90th minute, and it's one of those substitutes. Maybe they're still not done just yet as we enter stoppage time. Jaloka finds Smale.
They've got the ability to bring young, hungry substitutes on who are desperate to get in the first team, and they push the game now, as you see, from midfield.
Price looks for Pike. Bassasilk's in the way. And she shows good energy to get there, to bring it forward. McLaughlin shields the ball well. Still going, McLaughlin. Nice turn. Little tug on the shirt, maybe. Still going, Meg McLaughlin. Nicely done there. Here's Dawson. Bit of space for Lily Dawson, perhaps, and she's denied a shot, but she gets it back. McLaughlin once more. Gets the shot away, and all the pace is taken off it by Brittany Smale. And Nat Lacey finally gets a touch, and it is the final touch of the game. And Michael, you'd have to say that Belconnen United once again showing us just why they're the form team and the best team in Canberra.
Yeah, you can't disagree. Even the best teams struggle to go unbeaten throughout a season. I think that's 17 games unbeaten, 16 wins, 1 draw, and today was a great example why they do that. They're just continuous and continuous. Play good football, but also don't give you any chances.
Thanks for your company. Good luck tomorrow against Gungahlin United. I'm sure everyone of the Canberra Olympic Persuasion will be tuning in to or coming down to Gungahlin Enclosed. I think that's where the game is tomorrow, just to have a watch of that one and hope that you girls can do them a favour.
Well, we'll be doing everything we can to make sure they know they're in a game.
I'm sure they will be. Thanks again to Michael Aldred for his help this evening here at McKellar Park, where Belconnen United have shown their class once more. They've moved 11 points clear at the top of the WMPL. Goals from Maddie Whittle, Jasmine Maguire first off, then Maddie Whittle. A third goal of the game was scored by Nicole Jaloka. Whittle made it 4-0, and with almost the final kick of the game, substitute Acacia Argento made it 5. It's been thoroughly entertaining evening once again on Bar TV Sports, but in the end, the Blue Devils far too strong, and they've run out the winners. It's finished Belconnen United 5, Canberra Olympic 0. Go a bit more.